Ciel, it's a pure pleasure to see you. It's been quite a long time since we worked together. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing? It's been a
I'm
while
good.
since I've
We
seen
did
you.
some singing lessons together and we did a little bit of coaching together. And I think it was over a year ago. And at the time, you were doing your album. How's everything going? It's such a brilliant collection of songs. They're so dynamic, so energetic, so vibrant.
Everything is going great. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I'm really pleased with the songs, and it's been a wonderful journey creating them all. And it's the right mixture of energy and enthusiasm, and a love for the music, and just the right timing and the right ingredients, and it's all captured in my recent songs. So I'm really happy with everything. And
Yeah.
also, we wrote a new song recently.
Let's
So I'm
start
very
with
excited
that.
about that one.
Let's start with that. What have you done?
Well, that song is very new wave, post-punk, like rock. I really like, you know, kind of dance style drums and just angry, fiery guitars. So we have another new wave post-punk song on the way, and it sounds very 80s influence.
Oh, I'm really excited to hear that. You probably don't want to talk about it too much because you haven't released it yet. But it's such a wonderful process to write, and you've been committed to doing it. You've had several tracks out, and on this album alone, you've released, is it like 3 or 4 tracks to date?
Oh yes, I also just released something recently. I think it was about 4 weeks ago or something. I released a song called Goodbye Holiday Lover. So yeah, that was a recent release.
I think
And
I heard a little
yeah.
bit of that in one of your posts. I wonder if I can get that up. Is it on your, because is it on the main album?
Oh yes, it's one of the main album songs. Yes. It's more it doesn't sound, in my opinion, it doesn't sound very 80s. It sounds more like 90s alternative kind of rock, but that's okay because that's my jam too.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit more about that song, how it came about, what's going on there, what you particularly like about it, what you wanted to convey, who you work with, while I close some tabs and I can find it on the iTunes.
hmm Sure. Goodbye, Holiday Lover. It's pretty self-explanatory from the title. It's more, and also the cover art is me on an airplane, so it's just a story that that's probably like applicable to a lot of, people's situations when they travel, they meet someone, who lives abroad and they really click with them. And but in reality, it's going to be a brief affair because the two people live in different countries, but it's just like a moment in time, where you meet that international person and you have a sort of a holiday romance. So I'm pretty sure everyone on the planet has had one of those.
Yeah, I'm
Have
pretty sure
you?
too. At some point in their lives, everyone's had a holiday romance, or they've fictionalized one if they've ever been somewhere, if they're being
Yeah.
totally honest. And it has this playful and romantic and nostalgic vibe about it in the title. And there's
hmm
something, as you described, there's something quite liberating, and everybody's done it, everyone's had it, and everyone
hmm
accepts that it's for the moment. Let's see if I can find it. uh let's see if I can share. Something's going on with Zoom. It used to just be able to share straight away. Okay, they've just slightly changed the format. It's given me loads of options. It's become like even more nuanced, but I like the simple one where you didn't get so many options. Okay, let's
hmm
see if this is it. All right, just bear with me. Does this look good to you?
Yes, that's the song. That's my
Let's
latest release.
let's just hope it plays it. Yeah, I better cut that a little bit short just in case other people can't hear it. But it's brilliant. It's brilliant because it captures the essence of something really light, but it's got a real punky vibe or new wave vibe. How, if people, artists don't always like to be said, oh, it's a throwback to this or back to that. But how would you describe yourself? How would you, what are your references for people that aren't familiar with your music?
I would say my references are definitely mainly 80s influenced music of all genres. It could be 80s rock, it could be 80s synth pop, you know. And I also like a little bit of the 90s and some early 2000s, but I would say that my sound in particular is mainly 80s influence.
Mm-hmm. When you say a little bit of the 90s, who in particular are you thinking about?
You know, that's the thing. Whenever I get asked who in particular am I thinking about, I've never really like picked one artist or band um, and focused on them. I have always I've always enjoyed listening to um, different bands, a couple songs by this one, a couple songs by that band, that artist. So I have a really diverse background when it comes to musical interests. So there are so many artists that I like, and it's not just one genre. It's not just 80s new wave, but I also like a little bit of hip hop. I also like even liked a little bit of rap. I really liked Notorious B.I.G. For example. I thought he was really cool. And I would like to think in some of my songs when I'm doing my sort of new wave New York attitude thing that I have a little bit of his influence. Um, when I'm sort of doing my rapping thing, if you could call it that. But I also like classical music, rock music, symphony, uh, and strangely, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time listening to the Eagles of all things, which I
Oh,
sound like
gosh.
absolutely nothing about. So it's strange because it's like with music, you could have this total like diverse background, but when you go to do your own thing, whatever comes out is just, I'm not really sure where we can pinpoint that to, where it
Mm.
originates from.
And in that way, it's not dissimilar uh, to to myself and to many artists, where we draw from lots of different things, a little bit of lots of different people, and it's not necessarily. Having said that, it can be the other way that some artists are, oh, they're just like religiously into a couple of people, and that really formulated their style and was their launch pad into their style. But I can hear from you there's a real appreciation for different genres, and I can also hear an appreciation for the musicality of and a recognition of the musicality in all these different genres, because there's so much to glean from it as an artist. And so with this track, so how's it going? How's the promotion of this track? What are you choosing to do? How are you choosing to promote yourself?
How I promote myself, I just promote myself on social media, mainly Instagram. I don't really bother with other social media accounts anymore, like Facebook, for example. I just want to keep my energy in one place, and I think it's easier that way to, communicate with people. So instead of like posting here and then going to post somewhere else and following up on comments there and see how it's doing. I'd rather just be in one place, and people, if people want to find me or connect with me, they will know where to find me on Instagram.
I love your
So yeah.
presence on Instagram. It's brilliant. You're a really inspiring example for being an artist on Instagram. And absolutely what you said, and I've said it in some of the lives before, for artists, especially if you're an independent artist, it can be quite exhausting to have to try and get round tons of different social media platforms. And if you are doing it independently, it can be a really wise, smart move to choose the platform that works for you and to think about how it works for you to promote yourself and go with that. Go with what feels good for you and not feel that you've got to try and be everywhere and everything to every single social media platform. I mean, ideally, yeah, if we have, if there were a team of people, perhaps they could get around all the, but as an artist, I think, as an independent artist specifically, I think it's a really smart move to focus on what works well for you and what you enjoy, because again, the energy is aligned then if it's what you enjoy, and it manifests just brilliantly the way that you promote yourself. I love seeing the different videos that you do, and you do all your own videos, right?
Oh, yes, I do. I do all my videos. I do all of my videos. Right now I have just a bunch of social media clips that I put together so people can get a sort of a brief idea, of what I do. But I have been working on creating like proper music videos, which I don't actually have any at the moment. If people go to search for Ciel Gloss, they'll just find like the cover, the album cover, and the audio. So I've been working on making music videos. I know that they've got these apps out today where AIs can just gather a couple of pieces of information from you and they can put together a video. And that's really terrifying because for the past couple of years, I have been learning how to manually make a video. And to me, that's so much better. It's going to be a real product made by a human. And it concerns me that, that the music industry or society in general are sort of imposing these AIs onto us to rely on them heavily, and that they're taking our places, in arts fields and business fields. And, it's really sad. So, but I'm working on my own music videos. I just, what I do is I really love iStock. I think they've got great footage. So I have an account with them. And so I grab some footage from them for my videos, but I also go around New York City with my phone and I just record, what I want. If I want a construction worker scene, they're all over the city, I'll just record that. And I do actually have some construction workers in my high alert video because it's so representative of New York City. So I've got a lot of like New York City footage in there.
I love I've seen you out and about in your videos, and it's, again, as you said, New York is the very essence of your music as well, and you want to represent, then it comes through in your style. So I can see why it's a natural thing for you to be out on the streets and representing it in that way and getting the footage. And again, it's liberating to do that. We can do that. And I say that, but quite a lot of independent artists don't necessarily know the power of doing your own videos, and you're a brilliant example of that because you've done a lot. So would you talk a little bit more about what you use, which ones you use, and a little bit more about the process of your recordings for anybody that's interested in doing their own videos?
Yeah, sure. Well, for me, I had to learn everything from the beginning, and I'm not really the kind of person to stay home bound to a computer. So I have to do things on the go. So I had to learn how to make music videos on my iPhone on the go, which is a little bit more challenging because a lot of these apps require like, a computer, and a lot of them won't even work on a phone. So what I found, I really love InShot. What I like about, so for example, if you take iMovie is great because it has a green screen feature. Whereas, you can just, if you recorded yourself to a green screen, you can just, they have a feature that InShot doesn't have. A lot of apps don't have the green shot.
No. And is that on, do you use iMovie on the iPhone as well?
Yes, what I have to do is, it depends. I have a green screen at home. I ordered one from Amazon. They're very easy to put together. And I put mine together the lazy way. I just took the green material and I said, to hell with all the lights and stands. I just took the green screen itself and nailed it to the wall and just
sounds like it worked. Well, I know it worked because I've seen your videos and they're fantastic.
Oh, it works very well. Wait till you see the final products. And then what I do is I will go to iMovie and I will merge the two together, the green screen footage with the other footage. You know, for example, I might, you know, just do me on green screen singing, and then I'll record New York City in the background, and then I'll just merge the two together
And do
on
you merge?
iMovie.
Oh, you merge it on
I'll,
iMovie.
I merge it on. What you have to do is first you go to create a new project on iMovie, and you start with putting the footage in first.
Hmm.
So here, then you add. Then the second thing you would add would be the green screen shot next. So, and then you would just what you do is when the add plus sign appears, you just there are three little dots on the right side, and if you just click on those three little dots, it will say blue green screen, and you just click on that, and then it just merges the two together, and you can adjust the size a little bit. So the only thing is that I can't finish the video on iMovie because iMovie doesn't have effects. It has like
Wow,
zero effects.
that's really
So like
weird.
it,
That's weird.
it has filters, but it doesn't have like effects. So this is where
Of
InShot comes in.
iMovie,
Then
yeah. Oh, so then you just export the whole thing
yes,
back.
I export it to InShot, and InShot just, especially if you pay for the professional, you have access, you know, to everything. And you know, InShot offer all of these transitions, and they offer so many more filters and all of these amazing effects that they're constantly adding to it and updating. So if I'm in the middle of like recording, making a video, I'll just get an update from InShot where they've added like 5 more new, you know, effects. And it's super fun. But if you're like me or any other creative person, it's like you've got like this endless rabbit hole of like amazing ideas what you could do with your song, and it's kind of like you don't want to get caught up getting too focused on that because then you'll never get anything done. So like my
No,
producer said, because the same thing happens to him, if you hear something you like, just grab it and keep going, otherwise you'll be there forever trying this sound, that effect, this way, that way, do it, be there for like maybe months, maybe a year. And then you'll outgrow the
no.
project.
Yeah, I know. I have been there. It can be, and it comes from a really lovely place because you're just in it and you're having a good time. But you think, hang on a minute, I won't actually get anything. I won't get anything finished there. And yeah, you work closely with your producer, don't you? You use the same producer on most of the tracks. And I think, as I remember, you did do one track with Steve Lillywhite, U2's producer. How did that happen?
Well, that happened. It actually happened very naturally and unexpectedly. Um, I do work closely with my producer, but you know, when it comes to like the mastering and the mixing, we don't always get along. You know, we don't always agree with things. So,
Creative difference, creative license to be different. Uh-huh.
right. So we had finished doing the Son of a Gun track. And I just have to say, my team of people would be, I work with my producer, but it's actually my producer did write a lot of the songs, but mainly the ones on my first album. But
Okay.
my latest songs, all my newer songs, like We Lost Everything, High Alert, Give Us Faith, Goodbye Holiday Lover, all of those, Son of a Gun, those were all written by my friend Vlad Tipicidi, who we started off as having a professional relationship. He was a session musician that I hired, and we have been playing together for years. So over time, we developed a friendship, and he knows me very well, what I really like, you know, musically, and we've also played together live. So he has a,
Oh,
you
I
know,
wasn't aware of who you'd written most of the songs with. I was assuming it was your producer.
well,
Um,
no. So what we do is we record everything at Vlad's place, and then
and what's your
um,
producer's name as well? We must name him too.
my producer's name is Rafael Sepulveda.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. Sorry,
I just
but
want to name him because yeah, just to give everyone their due. visibility. So yeah, so
Yeah,
you work with Vlad at his right, I see. So but you write with Vlad. Is he a
we
keyboard?
write with Vlad. He is a multi-instrumentalist. He plays keyboard, he can synth, he can record, guitar, bass, he plays everything. So we, he's the one who writes the songs. Then we sit down together, and we just sort of we go over the sections. I might want to add bars or get rid of bars. I might want to create little breaks, or I might not like something he did. Maybe I don't like the synth sound that he used, so we'll just flick through and pick something else. Maybe we'll change the melody around a little bit. And I really love like adding samples, like with High Alert. I've got like,
It's a great song.
police sirens. Thank you. I've got police sirens going on in there, and bombs, and just police talking on dispatch. And, so I love like,
Is that's not the one that Steve Lillywhite, right? He did. Was that the one? No, which one did he do? Because that's where we kind of gone off on a thread, and I was asking you.
Steve Lillywhite worked on Son of a Gun. What had happened was
Son of a Gun.
So with my producer, he took the song originally was when Vlad wrote the song, the music, it was very rock, like post-punk rock. And
I love that one as well.
Yeah, and there was also like it also had like a little bit of like the bridge, just it transitions into this like techno kind of bridge out of nowhere. And so my producer expanded on that techno part, and he took the whole song and he turned it into like a techno song. And I was like, oh, no. And I didn't like the mix. I thought my vocals were like super, super low in the mix, and it just sounded like very techno. And I wanted it to sound like the demo, not like that. So I mentioned it to Steve. I reached out to him, and
you knew anyway, right?
Complaining. I know I've known Steve for a long time. Yes, I've known him for many years. And so I mentioned it to him, and I was kind of complaining about the song, and I was like kind of stressed out. And I asked him if he knew anybody in New York, because he was remote at the time. He was getting ready to come to do that U2 thing, the concert at the new venue they opened up.
Yeah, that little U2 thing. Oh, the Vegas, the whole Sphere thing.
Yeah. So he was getting ready to leave to do that. Incredible. So he was like, I'm curious. Can I hear the song? So I was like, okay. And so he heard the song, and he was like, I could fix that. And I was like, okay. And then so he asked me to send all the stuff over, and he had to leave. So he was kind of like, in a rush, like rushing me to send stuff over. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to send, these tracks over to him, because he's going to hear my vocals on, like
you got to sometimes you got to be
whatever.
Yeah, you have to not be
imperfections.
Yeah, you have to be out of your comfort zone sometimes when an opportunity arises that could be an opportunity for growth in some way. It can involve being out of your comfort zone, and just that's courageous, isn't it? Because he's a massive producer, U2's producer, and it can be petrifying actually when someone's really well on the map.
It was like so he worked on the song.
Brilliant that you did it.
He didn't say anything like negative, like like. My fear was like he would hear the tracks and say, "Oh, by the way, I heard your vocals unedited or not tuned." But he was so professional.
We can be our own worst enemy, can't we?
He just pretty much asked me like what it was that I didn't like about what my producer had done and how I wanted it to sound. And so I told him I just don't, I thought my voice was too low in the mix. I didn't like the effects that was used on it. And he said he agreed with me with that. I said I wanted the song to have more bottom and to not sound like it was like fried to a crisp during when I'm being mastered.
Okay. So, not going down the techno route. Shout out to Raphael though, because a lot of the album sounds amazing. As you know, I know you know, but
and I have to say, because I told my producer, I said I know you're very talented, but I don't like that crispy sound like when you fry something.
Yeah,
Like when
to
you
be honest,
master it, it
right?
sounds fried. So Steve Lillywhite's mix is on the same um, EP, the CD that I put out with the same tracks that Raphael mixed and mastered, and Steve Lillywhite's the Steve Lillywhite mix is on that same album. So when you hear them, when you hear you can hear such a difference. Like I probably shouldn't say these things, but you know, as a musician, I really do like a lot of bottom when it comes to music, and I don't
What you
like
like?
that much. I don't like that much, you know, reverb and echo. And my producer calls it ambience, but I don't really like it. You know, it's because I like everything to sound like really clear. So
Uh-huh.
when Steve Lillywhite did the mix, everything sounded so clear and
Steve
so
Lillywhite.
perfect,
It's
and
going to be
the
good, right?
bottom the bottom was there, and I was just
And
like,
also,
it
he
sounds so
responded to
perfect.
your requests too, right?
My request.
Yeah, he responded. He heard you because you said you like more bottom. You said what you like to hear and the
Oh
kinds of
yes,
things you
yes,
wanted
yeah.
to do. Yeah, and it came out so great. And I love that you released both of them. And that's the thing about the mixes as well, because mixes can be very different on tracks. Clearly, and I love that they're both out there for people. And what's the EP? I should have said this at the beginning of the interview. I'm going to be doing a singing lesson, so I do need to prep a little bit for that. Tell us what the EP was, the EP is, and where people can get it, and also just a little bit more about the single before we have to end. Unfortunately, I could talk to you forever. I haven't seen you for ages.
Um, the EP is my first three singles that were released, and they are all like new wave, you know, post punk kind of rock. And so I chose those three songs, and I thought they sounded great together. Son of a Gun is on it. That's the one that Steve Lillywhite mixed. And there's High Alert and We Lost Everything. And it's distinct from the single that I put out, We Lost Everything. I put EP version on that one, and I sold it also as a CD, a physical CD.
Can you still buy them? Can you still get them?
Oh, sure, sure. Right now, people can order them directly from my website, cielgloss.com.
Uh-huh.
I've already sold. I'm not. I'll tell you. It's not that I've sold tons of them, but what I really like is that I have sold records in different countries, and that means a lot to me.
Exciting.
So, you know, even though it's not an impressive number of record sales, what really matters to me is that, you know, around the world, you know, people have purchased it, and that somehow is more important to me than the
Absolutely.
quantity.
And it can be direct to fan as well. Being an independent artist, you can go direct to fan, and you can build up a relationship between you and the people that are interested in your music. And that is a brilliant way to go as an independent artist. There's a lot of power in that, and you can develop at your own time and be in control of your merchandise. And if you ever want, you were going for more support from independent people in the industries at some later date, should you need it. You've already got your business going, and you've already succeeded, and you've got it. You've done it in the way that you wanted to do it, and you are a testament to that, Ciel, because the video work that you do is brilliant. I don't say that lightly. I've seen it. I know you said the videos aren't finished, no, but all of the clips that I've seen, the way that you promote yourself on Instagram, your chosen platform, is brilliant. It's nothing short of brilliant. They're really professional, really inspiring for any independent artist to think, yes, I can do that. I can be visible as an independent artist. It may not be my first creative thing that I do, but I can. So you represent in that way. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, the shades. So yeah, we got to get the shade. We have to get the shades. And tell us about the shades, because we said a little bit just before we started when we forgot. So thank you for putting your shades on. So the shades represent, again. It's all about you representing who you want to be and being an independent artist the way you want to be it. So tell us.
I usually wear I call them sunglasses. I usually wear my sunglasses when I perform shows or when I post these, social media clips, because they are very much a part of my image. And so I love them. And these glasses in particular, these sunglasses, they weren't very expensive. I just found them in a little shop one day, and they were perfect for me. And there was even a time that one of the handles broke, but I didn't want to like buy a new pair. I actually went, to have it repaired somewhere because I just love them so much. And they have fallen on the streets so many times in New York City just from they've got like little marks on them from having hit the pavement. But
They're
I just love
fantastic.
them.
They're fantastic. Your sunglasses, and if it's your style, it's your style, and you want to represent yourself the way that you want to be represented, and you can do that. You have control as an independent artist. You can be seen as you want to be seen, and that's with the sunglasses on. And I'm glad we end the interview. As I said, I could chat forever, but glad to end the interview in the way that you want to be seen. So Ciel, thank you so much. It's exciting to chat to you, and I truly am so inspired by the way that you promote yourself, and the fact that you do the music the way you want to do it, the fact you've got someone like Steve Lillywhite on board, and of course Raphael is also a brilliant producer, and the songs are fantastic. And the guy that you write, just remind me of his name again, the guy you write with?
Vlad, TPC.
Vlad. So you have a brilliant team, and you get to call the shots as an independent creator, and that's long may you reign doing that. So long may it continue, and we shall keep in touch.
Great, sounds good, Anna. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.